And we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Forever Sports. And that is the team that Rassie Erasmus has officially picked for this weekend. A 5-3 split. I think that now makes it, I think it's 4, if not 5 games in a row that we have picked a 5-3 split against England. And I wonder if there's a certain amount of psyche towards that. You know, England obviously being and a lot of the English fans and pundits being one of the main opponents to the way we use the 6-2 split. And quite funny given the fact that we have beaten them quite regularly in the last few years using a 5-3 split. So very, very big news in that side. And big names, Volkolo, Arceus, Neymar, Grant Williams, Manie Libbok in that starting lineup. We're going to talk about that quite a lot. A 5-3 split, we'll talk about that as well as maybe what some of the tactics are and what some of the thinking might be given the side that has been picked. Very, very quick and easy poll to ask. Do you like the Springbok side? Very easy, yes or no answer. Let me know what you think. And also, if you don't like the side, I want to know what you don't like about it. Okay, there's nothing more annoying than someone who just saying, I don't like it. And when you say, what don't you like about it? And they just, oh no, I just don't like it. Well, no, come on, give me something. Give me something here. Let me know what you think of it. What don't you like from it, for example? What would you change? Is also something we want to talk a little bit about. As Joshua Pennington says, it is very interesting. Get your comments into the chat. I want to know what you guys think. And if you have any questions that we might be able to sort of discuss and talk about, get them into the chat as well. Let's see what some of the initial comments are. As Roscoe's saying, not what I expected. Joshua said he expected it. Good team. Susan saying, okay, let's see what's going on. As Kid Cynical says, Wilco time. Tian Vandenberg saying, Wilco deserves a start for his outstanding performances in the URC. That said, Thomas du Toit doesn't deserve to be dropped after his performance last weekend. Tough being a prop in this environment. And Luai is saying, bro, this is a very strong squad. Happy for Wilco. Yeah, he's the big winner, isn't he, of this selection, because he wasn't even in the Bok mix a few weeks ago. Well, he's been around as a reserve, for example, but he's not been in a final squad. He has been there and thereabouts in the reserve point of view, and he was then drafted in as a replacement for the injured Frans Malherbe, who had to pull out of the squad. So it's interesting how luck plays such a big part in your Bok career. So for Wilco Low, he was on the reserve list, for example, wasn't initially named in the squad. All of a sudden, he gets a call up due to an injury to Frans Malherbe, and now he will start against England. If he goes to have a cracker of a game, then that kind of puts a bit of a cat amongst the pigeons with regards to his sort of long-term future with the Boks, and maybe the short-term future of the likes of a Frans Malherbe, Vincent Koch, perhaps who are not getting any younger. We've already seen Cheba Nyakane, for example, being kind of shifted away from the Boks and kind of almost sort of, that's basically the end of his career. So there's a lot to talk about, a lot to pick apart in this side. At the moment, 97%, by the way, of you guys saying you do like the squad, but only 67 votes. So we've got over 200 people watching. Get into the comments. Vote on that poll and smash like on the video, please. You guys are very bad at liking videos. And well, I suppose maybe you don't like them, but I like to think that you guys are appreciating them in some sort of format. But let's go through it, shall we? So that front row, Oxenchair, Bongi Manambi, Wilco Low. Oxenchair, I think, is the strongest scrummaging loosehead in the world. And he's now being partnered with what is probably the strongest scrummaging, like aggressive scrummaging tight head prop in South Africa. We can't really say in the world yet until he starts doing it on the world stage. But there's very, very few people out there who will outmatch Wilco Low in the scrum. And then you got Bongi Manambi there for the solidity, and he adds a bit of bulk as well to that front row. So it's an interesting front row, and then you got Arceus Neymar and Eben Etzebeth behind them. So no Franco Mostert, who we'll see again. I think last week we saw a player who hadn't played in a while, obviously coming back from injury and the likes. I really hope that they give him a go against Wales. But at the same time, for example, he'll then go into a full Japanese top league season, and he'll be absolutely fine come next year. So no one's actually worrying about Franco Mostert. But given the fact we've gone with a 5-3 split, I think Rassie Erasmus wants to see, his strongest pack play for, 55, 60 minutes. And at the moment, Arke Stamen is part of that. Doesn't get a lot of starts, does Arke Stamen. In fact, I'd love to see just how many starts he actually has for the Boks, because it's really not a lot. I would say less than 10, to be perfectly honest. If we look at overall here, I can tell you in a second. So if we're playing for South Africa, he's started 10. Well, there we go. So on the no, he started 10 already. So this will be his 11th start in his 39th game. You know, he started just 26% of his games for the Boks so far. So it's an interesting decision, but I think it's the right decision. The way he's been playing for Leinster, he's been playing full 80s, for example. He is up to full fitness, which is good to see. And then we've gone with our strongest back three. And Jasper Wiese in particular came back towards the end of that rugby championship and just reminded everybody that he is the Dwayne Vermeulen replacement right now. You know, look, somebody like Cameron Hanekom can have a go. Evan Roos, for example, can have a go. But right now, Jasper Wiese has grabbed that number 8 jersey and said, this is mine, come take it from me. And why not? You know, get the opportunity, take the opportunity. Then for me, the very interesting one. This is just Grant Williams' third start. I actually also wanted to check that in the number 9 jersey. So he often doesn't start in the number 9, which is interesting as a number. He started, I think, twice in the World Cup on the wing. So before I think it was this year, he actually had more starts on the wing than he did at scrum half. So if we go look at his games over here, where we actually only made his debut about a year ago, so that should make life a bit easy. Started 2 games last year in the number 14 jersey, and for South Africa, the first game against New Zealand this year was his second start. So this is just his third start in the scrum half jersey. For someone who's played a total of 11 tests, quite interesting. But he has always been privileged to use off the bench. Now he's starting next to Manie Libbok. I told you guys that Manie Libbok would be starting. Nobody backed me. Well, some of you guys actually I lie. When we actually did the prediction, you guys voted for Manie Libbok. But the general comments I was getting when I said Manie Libbok is starting is he shouldn't be starting and stuff. But he is starting, and I really like the fact that he is starting. But the big news is the fact that he's starting without a Jaden Hendrickse, who we saw last time as a combination against Argentina, where they then had Jaden Hendrickse kicking for goal. So that's quite an interesting sort of combination, given the fact that there is no other goal kicker really, unless you go into like a Cheslin Kolbe. The back three, Kurt Lance, Cheslin Kolbe, Aphelele Fassi, pace on pace, X factor on X factor. You know, there's a moment of silence for that England back three having to contend with those three, whilst you then have to contend with the best centre pairing in the world of Damian de Allende and Jesse Kriel. So starting lineup is chef's kiss. And then off the bench, it's a 5-3 split, but there's a lot of firepower on it. You know, Malcolm Marx, Gerard Stellenkamp, Vincent Koch, Albert Lowe, Kwagga Smith. So no lock on the bench. That's obviously because Pieter-Steph du Toit can move back into lock. Albert Lowe as well, by the way, can cover lock if needs be. I think he's actually been training there a couple of times for the Boks and scrummaging there. And then Kwagga Smith covers your entire back three. So you're pretty sorted with those two. You then got Kobus Reinach. Now, he doesn't often come off the bench as Kobus Reinach. He's a player who, in his sort of second stint for the Boks, has often started when Faf de Klerk hasn't been around. And started, I think if we look at this season for the Boks, he's only come off the bench once, and that was against Argentina. He started four games so far for the Boks this year. And if we go back to last year, for example, he came off the bench once in that Ireland game in the number 23 jersey during the World Cup, and came off the bench once during the Rugby Championship. So he is generally a starter when he does play for the Boks. And so it's a bit of a different role. But I think this is very much a seeing off the end of the game type of role. Him, Handré Pollard, Lekanya Am is a nice utility player to have, to be honest, because he covers 12, 13, 14. So he covers all three of those sort of positions. He can probably play 11 as well. So a lot that he does cover. Handré Pollard, for example, can come on at 12. He can come on at 10. And, so there is a reasonable amount of versatility. So in terms of what Rassie Erasmus has had to say, this is the chat. He said, the turnaround time between Scotland and England is short, so we had to be smart in our selection to enable us to field a fresh squad with only 6 days between 2 tough test matches. He said it obviously has a knock-on effect in the sense that we've made 12 changes to the starting lineup. We've been rotating our squad all season. He said over and above that most of these players know each other very well and have been playing together for the last few seasons, as well as in the Rugby World Cup. And he then said the selection continues the former season, by the way. An interesting stat, 8.5 personnel changes per test. And out of the 11 tests so far, 11 selections that he's made this year. And speaking about Wilco Louw, he said over here, did he say anything about Wilco Louw? Doesn't look like it. We spoke about England, for example. He said, England poses a completely different challenge to Scotland, and we selected our squad based on what we would like to do in the match, and also what we think will be best to counter the challenge England poses. Fortunately, we have quite a few players who can switch positions if necessary, so we feel we have adequate depth throughout the team, which allows us to select this group of replacements, a 5-3 versus a 6-2. He said England come off 2 narrow defeats, but the quality of their performance wasn't good in both matches, so we sized the challenge. We lost narrowly to Ireland and France in back-to-back matches in 2022, and a year later, we're world champions, so we know we shouldn't read anything into the last 2 results. He said, finally, as I said on Sunday, we'll be facing a desperate England team and we'll give everything on Saturday. So the consistency in our player combinations will be vital for us to deliver the quality of performance we would like to. It's going to be vital for the players to gel quickly, so hopefully we can start off strongly because we are expecting a full 80-minute battle. He finally said they are playing at home in front of a passionate home crowd, and we know they'll give everything to turn the series around. So we believe it's going to be a hard match until the final whistle. I don't think he's wrong, to be honest. It should be quite a tough challenge. This England side are coming off the back of 2 results, which makes them, as he says, desperate to win. They have to win this weekend. You know, they've been really poor in the Autumn Nation Series. They lost a tight game against New Zealand, which they might have should have won, and they would have taken confidence out of that. But a week later, they lost to an Australian side, which they probably shouldn't have lost to. So it becomes quite an interesting conundrum where they are now going to play against the world champions, but you don't want to play against a team so desperate to win. You don't want to play against a team who are backs against the wall. We all know how good the Boks are, for example, when their backs are against the wall. Some of the stats for this weekend: it'll be the 100th match on British and Irish Lions soil since the first tour in 1906, which is quite interesting. Obviously, Ebenezer Beth will extend his record as the most capped Springbok player. And Manie Libbok needs 6 points to become only the 30th of 944 Springboks to reach 100 test points. Good for him, and I think he will get 6 points. So I back him to get there. And South Africa will have scored 1,000 tests in 1,000 points in tests against England if they score 12 or more. The total test caps for the Springbok starting lineup is 767, 265 in the back line, 502 in the forwards, a further 359 on the bench. Average caps per player in the back line is 37, the forward 62, and on the bench 44. I mean, it's just ridiculous the amount of experience that we have in this lineup. And let's go to some of the comments. But what have we got to say over here? Lots of comments coming through, so please do keep them coming through. I'll have to try and just sort of pick some of them out as we go. And Beach saying, reckon they're going to try and replicate Wallaby's success out wide. We'll talk about that a little bit now. Benjamin says, my only question is why am I not Villy? It's an interesting question, to be fair. We'll talk about the 5-3. Brandon Mulder saying, Grant and Manie together could be explosive. Grant Swart saying, very excited to see Evan and Achia combo. Appreciate Reese who's saying, I always like the videos. Andre says, how's it, Stephen? Hope you're well. So happy to see Grant Williams starting. Yeah, I'm always well. I mean, the weather's been a bit miserable here in Joe. We've been getting a lot of overdue rain. But, I see a Springbok side on a Thursday and my life just gets infinitely better. You know what I'm saying? It's just a good vibe. And now on Saturday, I get to watch the Boks again. So life's always good at the moment, despite how bad the Proteas were last night. Patrick says, great team. Amma and Rana can cover other positions. Cannot wait. Sasha saying, very keen to see Wilco pack down. What else have we got over here? A couple going through. Rex saying, really concerned there is no kicker. Grant, the best scrum off, so it makes sense. Max saying, the more changes are good for now. Let them earn the Springbok jersey and build on it, win or lose. And Contender has always got his different opinion over there, which is I think they should put Pollard at 12 for De Allende second half when it's time to open the game. Not massively against that, to be honest. A lot of people sort of a very mixed report about Manie Libbok where he's starting. And Rassie's saying, whatever anyone says about Manie, he is still our best attacking 10. Let's just pray his kicking has improved. Let's talk about the Manie Libbok situation, shall we? And what I always like to go to when it comes to Manie Libbok, by the way, is you look at stats. And you look at what we produce when he plays for the Boks. And what we produce when he plays for the Boks is lots and lots of points. He also produces wins. So, Manie Libbok has played 14 games for the Boks. And he's played 18 games for the Boks and he's won 14, losing just 4. So, if we go look at his Boks performances, for example, in the past 12 months, let's go look at the recent ones. He beat one against Portugal, obviously, but one against Australia when he played, and lost when he came off the bench against Argentina, but won when we started at home. Now, when I look at Manie Libbok, I watched him against Argentina, and this is what Rassie Erasmus basically said in Chasing the Sun. From an attacking output point of view, we are a different breed of good when he starts at 10. And that's what we're trying to go. I think a lot of people have caught on to this, the whole idea that there's a lot of space out wide against the England side. You can get the ball out wide whilst, creating a couple of mismatches. There are opportunities to take. I mean, for example, you look at New Zealand and how often they were creating mismatches. Will Jordan running against Ellis Genge. The way if you move this England side to side, there's going to be gaps created. And that's why I think we have picked this side. Also, if you want to find someone to put players into those gaps, there is nobody better than Manie Libbok to do that. He reads space and reads in front of him better than anybody else in the squad. And that's just, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that's just a fact. He does. So the goal kicking is going to be a concern. There's no doubt about it, and they've obviously made a calculated risk about, right, well, if we can score a few tries, for example, then we're okay. And if things are going badly, you've got your, in case of emergency, break glass option. You bring on Andre Pollard, you go back to the pressure game, you win scrum penalties, which you will with that scrum. I don't see how you don't, for example. And Pollard just knocks over a few threes. So we've got options to adapt. I think that's the main thing. Even if you might not be a massive fan of Libbok starting, for example, there are options if things don't go well. And as long as there are options to adjust, which we can do, a year ago we did that against England, where we weren't playing particularly well. We were off it, and Libbok was hooked in the first half. I would absolutely love to see him a year later playing against England, put on a bit of a masterclass. And I think we could be in for an absolute treat. Grant saying it's November and it's the return of the Steven 80s stash. Love it. Yeah, well, you got to rock the November. I wanted to do the full handlebars, to be honest, go full November. Unfortunately, the girlfriend vetoed that. So, yeah, we're working on that. Next year, maybe we'll do a campaign. And if we bring in money for charity, for example, which you can't say anything about the handlebars. Maybe what we'll do next year is we'll go on tour to the UK. And we'll do full handlebars for the lads on tour vibes. Let's go some of the other comments saying Cam Honeycomb coming for Wales, is Matthew. Michael says full throttle from the onset. We really need to go at it right from minute 1 and silence the crowd and any positive effect they can have on the English side. 100%, 100%. Anton asking who is our best 8 in my opinion. He is starting. I think Jasper Wiese is our best 8. I think that Cameron Honeycomb, we also need to be careful. Cameron Honeycomb has been in fantastic form. There's no doubt about it. He's playing really, really good rugby for the Bulls. He has never played a test match. And Evan Lewis went from being the URC player of the season to playing for the Boks and never really, to this day, not really nailing down a spot. Albert Lowe, for example, has come back from on the fringes, and he himself has managed to make himself a constant in this Boks side, where Evan Lewis hasn't been able to yet. So, not to say that Cameron Honeycomb, for example, is not going to be a Springbok quality, for example, but we can't, for example, say right now Cameron Honeycomb is a better 8 than Jasper Wiese, because he needs to do it at test match level. If I look at the 8s we've got, Kwagga Smith coming off the bench. If you want to start Albert Lowe, Jasper Wiese, and Evan Lewis, Pepsi Buthelezi, although he doesn't really start playing at 8, he'll probably play more at 6 for the box. But you look at those options, Jasper Wiese, for me, is our best 8. He is abrasive. He's also, the whole thing about his discipline is basically a bit of a fallacy. He's cut it down a lot in the last few years, so he's no longer sort of the ill-disciplined player he was a couple of years ago in the Premiership. He actually had to. They basically said to him, "Listen, you've got to start cut it down." And there was that season, I think it was 2021, where he received 3-4 yellow cards, a red card, and the likes of that. He received 3 yellow cards the following season at Leicester, and since then he's been a lot better. And if you look at the box, for example, he's received 1 yellow card. I think it was last season in the Rugby Championship. Hasn't received anything like that this season, and he's been a lot better from a discipline point of view. So, yeah, I personally think that Jasper Wiese is our best number 8. I'm going to end the poll there, and I'm going to say the majority of us do seem to like it, because I want to put another poll up at the moment. And Derek's saying it's nice to see 97% like the team. Good support for the team. The more money plays, the better he'll get under pressure. We need to give him the game time. And yes, Stars, this is the official team. England have not announced their team. I'll actually tell you when they're announcing this today, and we'll do a video on it. I can tell you exactly what time. They're announcing their team at, I think it's 2 o'clock. Well, the press conference happening at 2 o'clock. So around 2 o'clock, which is about 4 o'clock South African Standard Time. So probably about 3-4-ish, between 3 and 4 would be my guess when the team officially comes out from England, and we'll have a look at it. I don't think they'll change much, to be honest. I think they'll keep it pretty consistent. So I think we can almost guess what we're going to see from England. The poll I want to do, what did I want to do? I had something on me. I'll think about it. If it doesn't, let me know what you guys want to poll. Give me a good poll here. I'll try and remember what my poll is going to be, because it was a good one. No, it's gone. It's gone from my head. I'm trying to see. All right. Well, if you guys can give me a poll, then until it pops back to my mind, we'll just continue chatting. Somebody else wants to ask. Somebody asked a question. Oh, in terms of tactics, right? So, what we've got in this side is a couple of things. You've got a lot of pace out wide in Cheslin Kolbe, Kurtley Arendse, Aphelele Fassi will join the attack. So we've got a lot of pace. I also think we've got players who will contest quite well under the ball. Canon Moody versus Kurtley Arendse, for example. Canon Moody probably better under the higher ball. He's just bigger. But Kurtley Arendse is a bit quicker. He'll get there, and he's pretty good under the high ball. What I think Manie Libbok is going to do is going to launch it up. We are going to kick a lot to England. I think I have no doubt, to be honest. I'll be very surprised if we don't. If you look at how well our kick chase was last week and how we managed to retain possession from kicking it up, and it's on those sort of bits of broken play, basically, that you create. And then on first, second phase, you could sort of find those gaps and put yourself on the front foot. And then when a team is scramble defending, for example, more likely to make mistakes in terms of missed tackles and potential tries, or else more likely to miss tackles, or commit penalties, for example, offside of the ruck and the likes of that. So we're definitely going to kick a lot to England, because I think that that's something as well that they might struggle with. And also what's going to be very interesting is obviously the laws changes in terms of protecting the kick chase. It is making it far more contestable. So I do think that a lot of what we're going to try and do is kick to them and contest for it. Aphelele Fassi will contest a lot, I'm sure. And on that turnover ball then, or retain a possession, for example, that's when Manie Libbok can look up, see a broken English defence trying to get back into line. And he's got the full bag of tricks. He can chip over the top. He can throw a pass to the right, pass to the left, a good 20-30 metres with ease. He is also the best. Well, apparently Tony Brown says Damian de Allende is the best passer in the team. But as far as I'm concerned, Manie Libbok is the best passer, and he just sees the space well. So, it's about creating that sort of fractured play and then letting Manie Libbok cook in there. And we've got so much pace out wide. If we can get the ball, when we do go out wide, which we can do, and we go out wide quite quickly, then if there's any sort of overlaps, you don't want to give Cheslin Kolbe and Kurtley Arendse space, because they will punish you every day of the week. I want to see if anybody has give me a poll to put out there. Anybody? Mario's making a big call, so I'm willing to put money down. The team will change before the game. It's only happened like twice. Come on. No one's giving me a poll. Jan says, as long as the Vodacom box comes up early, one other concern, where's our playmaker really at the back 3? Well, we don't have one because you've got a Manie Libbok at 10. That's the big sort of difference. That's why when Andre Pollard starts, you often see Aphelele start. It's all about combinations. So when you've got Manie Libbok starting, for example, you don't necessarily need Willie as the playmaker because Manie Libbok will give you the playmaking ability. He will be the one that can throw that cut-out pass, chip over the top, cross-kick, and the likes. We play very differently when Pollard's at 10 versus when Manie's at 10. So Villiers often comes to first receiver when Pollard's playing at 10. We won't see that. Instead, Aphelele Fassi becomes another attacking weapon, which we like to put into space. So that's where the sort of the differences come. Yeah, I think we're going to go with the best... Best number 8 chat. Who is the box best option at 8? I'm going to put in Visa. I'm going to put in Oaxaca. I'm going to throw in Hanekom. And on this tour, I suppose I have to throw in Low. And it'll be interesting to see. As I said, I think that Cameron Hanekom is going to be a very good test player. But I also think that we need to be very cognizant of the fact that he's never played, Test rugby before. And until he's doing what he's doing at URC at Test level, we can't call him the best number 8. As far as I'm concerned, I think that's pretty straightforward. I think it's pretty easy to understand. Maybe it's not to some people, but because we've seen some players who are really, really good, and they're not be able to make the step up when it comes to getting that chance. So that's the poll we've currently got over there. And... I mean, for example, you've got Vian Brits who says Cameron Hanekom is better than Wiese. Jasper Wiese has been one of the best players in the English Premiership for the last 2 seasons. He's been in the dream team, for example, for I think 2-3 seasons in a row. And he was the Players' Player of the Year in 22-23, which means that everybody in the league... voted him as the best player. So that's the pedigree that Wiese brings alongside some big performances he's won for the box, World Cups won for the box. Cameron Hanekom has been really, really good, but he's only done it at Bulls level at URC. And if I'm not mistaken, has less than 20 to 30 URC international games, if that. I mean, he's into his 2nd season now. And let's see how many games he got. And I'm not going to look at Currie Cup. He has got a total of 26 games for Bulls. You know, whereas Jasper Wiese is a player who plays 26 games in the Premiership season once off and then thing. So it's not to say that Cameron Hanekom can't become better, but right now I don't see why how you can say he is better than Jasper Wiese when he's not played Test rugby yet. Once he plays Test rugby and puts in bigger performance, then great. He's also 22 years old, so we also need to remember that this kid is young and will get his chance. I've got no doubt he'll play against Wales. I'm sure he'll start. Not start, I'm sure he'll be involved. He might start, to be fair. But he's going to get his chance. And then, again, he needs to take his opportunity, because if he doesn't take his opportunity, well, then he's not going to keep getting opportunities. Jasper Wiese came back after a bit of an injury, and bang! Look at some of the performance he put in the Rugby Championship. He was absolutely immense. I think it was Australia was his first game. He was silly good, running over people. He won a few turnovers, made a couple of big tackles, and he kind of basically said, "Bang, I'm back." So yeah, it's his jersey, and it's up to Cameron Hanekom to take that jersey off him. And if he can, then well played, good on you. But if he can't, then it's going to continue to be Jasper Wiese. And that's what we want to see, though. We want to see this consistently competing for the jersey kind of, situations where players need to know that they've got to be better than the incumbent if they're going to get more chances. Evan Rose is currently injured, which is why he's not currently involved. He probably would be on the tour if he was fit. Rassie says, for now it's Wiese. Hanekom needs experience at this level first. Low is more of a flanker for me, and Kwaka plays better when he is on the flank and when he comes on at 8. And each of reckons he'll pick even Ruiz if he was fit. Right, people, we're going to call it there for the live show. Got a couple other things we need to get going. We will have a video on the England side when it comes out a little bit later, so watch out for that. Until then, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're currently on the road to 85,000 subscribers. Long term, that 100,000 subscribers might start to loom in the next year or two. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys over the weekend. We'll be live tomorrow night, Saturday. I think we actually will be live on Sunday as well. I think we've got quite a few games sorted. Let me actually show you what the schedule is for this point, for this weekend. Here we go. Where we at? So tomorrow we have got Ireland versus Argentina, which should be a lot of fun. I'm doing that game. On Saturday, we got England versus South Africa, followed by France versus New Zealand. And then on Sunday, Mr. Rudes, who, by the way, when he does jump on Sunday, congratulate him. He's got some very cool news. Will be making his return to the channel. It's been a while since he's been here, and he'll be taking you through Wales versus Australia on Sunday. So plenty of games live on the channel. Once again, by the way, I'm going to put the link in the description because we do different type of videos there, and there's 600 people over here who I think obviously quite like Bok content. So we've got a new channel that's just been launched called Forever Box. There is the channel. Please go and subscribe to it because it's a very cool project. We've got lots of things planned up for it, so it will be really cool to see you guys go and show your support over there. We did a video yesterday speaking about 6-2 versus 7-1. I think we might go 6-2. But acknowledge the fact we generally go with a 6-5-3 against England. We're going to do a couple of basically on a weekly basis. We're going to be doing a Bok barometer, even in the off season. So who's playing well, for example, who's on the Bok radar. On Wednesdays, we do a Rassie report, basically, which is, what is Rassie Erasmus currently thinking of? What's his enigma? Like flower halves, or who's his 9, for example, future captains, those kind of conversations. And we'll have a lot of dedicated Springbok content over there, like press conference clips, training, but basically anything Springbok related will specifically, anything on that channel will be Springbok related. So please do head over there and show your support and subscribe to it. Right, people, that's going to be enough for me. We'll see you guys a bit later when the England team is announced, and hopefully see you guys all tomorrow as well. Also, big news, by the way, is our Forever Sports podcast will officially launch on Sunday. It'll be available to the members this evening, and we're made available to everybody come Sunday evening at 7 o'clock. That is when the podcasts will drop on a weekly basis. Very, very cool podcast, by the way. Lots of very interesting insight into the rugby industry. Right, and that's enough for me. Let's see. Let's